Triplet eighth notes or triplet quavers means that you have to play 3 notes in the time of 2. But as you might have experienced already, keeping them even and in time when you play is difficult. In this video, you'll learn how to count triplet eighth notes or quaver triplets so that you can play them accurately and with control. Now, you may have heard of lots of different words that you can use to get these rhythms correct, such as pineapple, elephant, or even the word triplet itself. But many of those only work at a steady tempo. Try saying pineapple fast 4 times, pineapple, pineapple, and you'll soon discover that your tongue starts tripping over itself. Now, I'm a huge fan of using words to help you vocalize rhythm, and it's something I've studied and developed through my Play Music Better methodologies. However, there's more to it than just choosing a word that has the right number of syllables. The position of the tongue, the placement of the accents, and the way the syllables roll together are all things that need consideration. You also need to factor in the time signature. For example, triplet eighth notes are only played in the value of 1 beat if the time signature is 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, or 5/4. If the time signature was 2/2, then the value of 3 triplet eighth notes or quavers would be half a beat. So make sure to check out my previous video on the theory behind triplet rhythms to learn more on the maths and music. The most common example of quaver triplets is 3 eighth notes beamed together with a number 3 above them. In simple time signatures, I teach my students to say the word wonderful to help them count these notes reliably. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, wonderful is a word that rolls off the tongue well, even at quicker tempos. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. And the syllables are easy to silence when you have rests within the triplet rhythms. So keep listening as I'll share how to count triplets that include rests in a moment. Now let's start by vocalizing the word wonderful to a metronome. You want to say the word militantly so that the syllables are evenly spaced, and ensure that you place the w of the word wonderful with the click. So let's try that. I'm going to put my metronome on crotchet equals 72 and just listen to how militantly I say the word wonderful and how the first syllable of the word aligns with the click. Wonderful, 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 one. When you get the hang of saying the word wonderful and you know that you're aligning it correctly, it's then time to try playing this rhythm on 1 note. And it's a good idea to record yourself and listen back to check whether you're playing the notes evenly. If they are uneven, you'll need to do some more work on vocalizing the word wonderful to a metronome. Wonderful, 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 one. Once you can play the rhythm evenly on 1 note, then try it with the correct notes. If possible, say the word wonderful as you play. You'll be amazed at how much more control you have if you keep vocalizing the word rather than trying to say it silently up here. It's also a good idea to include the first note of the following beat so that you can ensure that you align with the next metronome click. So if I was practicing this bar, I would play the first 4 notes and say wonderful 1 to the metronome, making sure that that 4th note, the B, lands with the click. So to get started, just practice saying the word wonderful, 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 1. Wonderful 1. Wonderful 1. I then practice the second triplet and include the first note of the 3rd grouping. So I'd start on the B and play B, A, G, that's my wonderful, and then I'd finish on the A, making sure that that A aligns with the click. Wonderful 1. Wonderful 1. I then try and put those 2 triplets together, making sure that the C of the first triplet grouping and the B of the second triplet grouping and the A of the 3rd triplet grouping all aligned with the metronome clicks. Wonderful, wonderful 1. Wonderful, wonderful 1. You don't always get 3 notes of equal length in a triplet, and sometimes you get rests in triplets. So let's take a look at how you would go on counting some of these variations. This rhythm is common in swing music, and initially when you get started, it's a good idea to count in the smallest note values. You could begin by setting your metronome at a steady speed and have the click represent one triplet eighth note or one quaver triplet. Because the crotchet or quarter note in this triplet rhythm is equal to 2 triplet eighth notes or 2 triplet quavers, you would hold that first note for 2 clicks of the metronome, and then you'd play the G on the third click. Now you could use the numbers 1, 2 and 3 to help you do this, but in preparation for increasing the speed, I recommend using the syllables from the word wonderful. So you say wonder on the quarter note or crotchet, and then the syllable full on the triplet quaver. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Now you want to gradually increase the metronome speed until you get to around 150 beats per minute. Then you'll be ready to do the subdivision. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Gradually increasing the speed like this and counting in those smallest note values will help ensure that you've got everything in place so that when you want to go faster, you can keep control of those notes and deliver that rhythm accurately every time you want to play it. You should by this time have a good feel for the rhythm, so there are a few alternatives that you can use to help you vocalise the count. Many jazz musicians will use the word doobie to count this swing rhythm, but you could keep with the wonderful if you prefer. Wonderful, wonderful, doobie, doobie. You'll probably find that the words doobie lend themselves better if you're playing a swing piece of music, but give it a try yourself and make up your own mind. If you have a rest within the triplet grouping, it's easy to silence one of the syllables. So if the rest is at the start, you could say resterful, 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 resterful. And if we move the rest to the middle of the triplet grouping, you can silence the syllable de, so one, full, one, full. An alternative way of vocalising the counts here is to say one ah, so one ah, one ah, one ah. One for one for one for one for one, or one ah, one ah, one ah, one ah, one. Both ways work well. Just remember to record yourself regularly and check that you're not anticipating the third note in the grouping, and also that the following note, the one on the beat, lands with the click. And if the rest is on the third triplet eighth note, you can silence the syllable full. So wonder, 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 wonder. In the rare case that you get 2 16th notes or semiquavers within the triplet, you can adapt the word wonderful quite easily. Here are a few examples. Wonderfully, wonderfully, one. Fully, wonderfully, wonder, one. One fully do, one fully do, one. Finally, you'll want to practice some exercises that combine triplet eighth notes or quavers with straight eighth notes. What tends to happen if you get a run of eighth notes with a triplet grouping in the middle is that the triplet notes are too slow, or the eighth notes that follow the triplet grouping are rushed. Vocalising any rhythm before you try and play it is highly recommended. As professionals like myself say frequently to students, if you can't say it, you can't play it. Scales are a great way to practice combining triplets with other rhythms. So here's a few examples using some basic scales. We're going to start with G major. Coffee, wonderful, coffee, wonderful, coffee, wonderful. Piccadilly, wonderful, Piccadilly, wonderful, one. Wonderful Piccadilly, wonderful Piccadilly, one. Coffee, coffee, wonderful, wonderful coffee, coffee, one. There's literally loads of combinations that you can use in your scales practice to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can practice the notes of your scale, but you can also develop your understanding of triplet rhythms and also practice combining them with things like 8th notes and 16th notes. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that these videos can reach more adult learners who want to grow and develop their musical skills. And just in case we've not met, I'm Fiona from Learn Music Together, and helping adults improve their musical skills is my passion in life. New videos are released every Tuesday, and if you want further tips, please grab my free guide on practice tips that work. There's a link in the description below this video and some more videos for you to check out if you would like to grow and develop your musical skills so that you can play with confidence. Thanks for watching. See you next time.